Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Victoria here. If it's your first time here, welcome. Today is my birthday, you guys. It's my birthday. So I was thinking of how to basically celebrate my birthday because we're in lockdown, clearly, and there isn't exactly much to do. I might as well just kind of do a story time, I guess. And today's story time is technically a testimony, or multiple testimonies in one. And I'm just going to be sharing with you guys all the different times and different years in my life where God has rescued me from death. Like I literally almost died, near death experiences, and God said, nope, not yet, not my child. And he grabbed me, and today I'm going to share that with you. So yeah, let's begin. First experience was from, I think I was about 7 or 6 years old. I think it was a Salah holiday, public holiday Salah, and so we went to the beach that day, and we're all just chilling by the water. Not all of us, but like me, my nanny at the time, and then one of my siblings as well. We were by the water, and then my mom and her friend and all the other kids were kind of like further away, like by the tent where you sit down and like relax and stuff like that. They were there, and we were by the water, and we're just playing, hanging out, whatever. Tell me why, like me minding my business, making my sand castles or whatever I was doing. I don't know what I was doing, but one lady that I don't know from nowhere, you guys, like this lady just literally comes from behind me and just picks me up and is carrying me into the water. Please just make it make sense. Like I don't know why I even remember this story, but I just remember it so vividly because I was so scared because like I was convinced she was trying to drown me, because I don't understand what, like, if that was a joke, like who jokes like that with somebody else's child? Like, does you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. Even till this day, I don't understand it. But anyways, so she picks me up and she carries me towards the water, and then like we get to like I would say like the water was maybe by like her, almost close to her knees at this point, and she's just holding me, like swinging me. Oh god, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it was just such a weird and scary experience that like till this day I don't know. And I just remember like fighting and like trying to like struggle, and like I was shouting like leave me alone type of thing, right? And this woman then eventually, I think she just like lets me go and just like drops me in the water there and then walks away. Or I don't even, something like that happened, because I remember it was just very abrupt and it was just very sudden when she just left me and literally just walked away. Like I don't know till this day like what that was or what's possessed that. Like, I don't even want to say that because I don't know, but it was just very weird. And to this day I don't know who that lady was. I don't know where she came from. I don't know what exactly her plan was, but God rescued me. That's my testimony, and that's what I'm gonna believe, because yeah, she could have honestly just thrown me in the water. But anyways, so that was the first experience, like near death experience, that I remember. Now the second one happened when I was about 10 years old. Now this one is a bit more serious. So I was in school during this period, right? And we were having like inter-house sports, and I used to run track when I was younger, right? So I'm doing my practice and all that. All of a sudden I started to feel some kind of pain on my shoulder. I believe, yeah, it was my left shoulder. And so it was just getting worse and worse every day, and I decided to go to the clinic to have the nurse like look at it. And she told me, oh, just massage it and maybe get like a cold compress or whatever and just place it on it, and you should feel better, and take painkillers. Like, we didn't really take it as anything serious at the time. So then a week went by, and then all of a sudden I started to get like a fever and get really, really sick. Like, I was very weak. I was getting a fever. I was losing a lot of weight. So obviously I had to stay home. And then my mom thank God for my mom. So my mom was like, let's go to the hospital. She took me to the children's hospital that was close to my house that I would always go to. And they were just like, oh, it's just malaria. They gave me malaria medication. And then, I took the medication, and after a few days, I didn't have an appetite the whole time. So, but then after a few days of taking the medication, I remember the one time I was able to finish a bowl of noodles that my mom made for me. And I was so happy because I was like, oh my God, I'm getting better. I'm able to actually eat now. And I was just excited that I could actually finish the food. And then, everybody was excited because everybody thought, like I'm getting better and stuff like that. So my mom noticed that I kept losing weight. I kept losing more weight and more weight and more weight, and I was just not looking good at all. So she started to really worry, and she was like, no, like she doesn't feel like she feels like it's something more than just malaria, because usually like malaria is pretty easy to treat like in Nigeria just because it's so common. So a few months back during Christmas, my family had plans to travel to the United States for like Christmas holiday, right? And then one thing or the other, I think my mom's passport was like stuck at the UK embassy or something weird like that happened, and then we couldn't travel that Christmas. And then we're like, okay, you know what, we'll just travel during Easter, right? Easter break. So that was fine, lovely, beautiful. So I kept getting more sick and more sick and more sick, and then it was approaching the time for us to travel, right? So my mom was like, okay, you know what, let's just travel, and then we can maybe go to the hospital there or something, and hopefully she'll get better, change of environment or whatever. So we took the medications I was taking and all that, and then we traveled, right? So we got there now, and then my mom noticed that I was getting skin, like I was losing so much weight at such a rapid pace. It wasn't making any sense. Something is wrong. We need to take this child to the clinic or to the children's hospital, whatever, ASAP. So we went to the hospital. Went to this walk-in clinic that day, and then the doctor checked me out, and I remember so vividly, he checked like my fingers. So you know how you can like press your fingers here and you see how it like turns pink, obviously because of the blood that's there. And so when he had pressed my fingers, it was completely white, like there was no blood. And there was blood in my body, but like obviously it was not that much. So he's like, take this child to the hospital now. Like we drove like immediately from the walk-in clinic to the hospital. And then what's so crazy, you guys, like God really is just so good, because I don't know what made my mom say we should go to the clinic that day, but you won't believe that immediately I entered the hospital, right, they started to run some tests and basically put me into a room, and maybe like an hour or two later I started coughing and coughing and coughing, right? Next thing, I was coughing out blood. And then the next thing, I just kind of like blacked out. Like I lost consciousness, and everything just basically kind of spiraled from there. So it turned out that they checked, like my lungs and all that, and I had pneumonia. I had developed pneumonia, and the pain that I was feeling on my shoulder, apparently my bone was also infected. So then, the next day after that, I lost consciousness, and they had to rush me into the ICU. I was in the ICU for about 2 or 3 weeks, or a while. I don't remember if it was that long, but it was for a while. And I was on the ventilator because I couldn't breathe on my own. I went into I think they put me into a coma, because my whole system was shutting down essentially. And so when they did all the tests, like I still have scars on my body from all the different like places I was getting needles, like injections from, and medication. Like there's one like on my thigh. I had a PICC line put into my arm here, for where my mom had to, like when we went back home, my mom used to put medication in the night through the PICC line. It was a lot, guys. I was in a coma for, I don't remember how long exactly, but it felt like a long time. And I remember one time I woke up in the like hospital room. I just remember like bright lights everywhere, and I remember seeing my mom like right beside me, and I said to her, Mom, I want hot dogs. I don't know why I'm busy craving hot dogs like randomly in my sleep. And I remember she laughed, and I just remember that time, like my mom was just telling me when I woke up that, every day she went to like the chapel and she was just praying and begging God, like, God, please just have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Like, you can imagine coming to like a foreign country with 3 children and only going back with 2. That was not a story that she wanted to tell or live or experience. And so, she was just praying and begging God. And I would remember waking up sometimes and I would just hear her praying. Like, I would hear her praying as I was kind of like sleeping in and out of consciousness. But yeah, so when they did all the tests and everything, it turns out I actually had typhoid fever. It was not malaria at all. So they misdiagnosed me back in Nigeria, and I was taking medications that I didn't need to take, and I was getting worse and worse and worse. Now, this is the testimony, because if God did not do it in a way that, like, if we had traveled in December, we would not have traveled in Easter. And if we had stayed in Nigeria, I don't think I'll be here telling you guys this story, because I really think like that would have been it, because the way I was sick, honestly, the doctors were not even sure I was going to make it. They said to my mom, like, this is a miracle that she's even coming back. They weren't sure if I was going to be alive, to even like, they weren't sure I was going to make it out, because the way my system and my organs were shutting down, it was crazy. Like, I just had like infections everywhere, my lungs, my bones. It was crazy. And I remember, when they took me out of the ICU and they took me into like another like room to recover, I had to go through like therapy to learn how to walk again, because I left the hospital in a wheelchair. So I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to write. I remember one day when I picked up the pencil to write and I couldn't write, and I just burst into tears, because it was just like how can I not write? Like, it wasn't making any sense to me. And it's like, why am I here crying about not writing when I could have really been dead? But yeah, so God is really good. And I remember that period, it was just a very scary time. And I really understood spiritual things during that season, at that time of my life, because the kind of dreams I was having during that period, I knew that that whole ordeal was definitely a spiritual attack. Definitely, like, the devil really tried it with that one. Like, like, he just really tried to take me out. But I don't know if he forgot who God is. I really think he did. But I remember I would be so scared, and I would always sleep like this. And I don't know if that's where I started to sleep, because even till today I kind of sleep in like that fetal position. Like, I sleep like that. I slept like that because I wanted to me, I was protecting myself so the ladies wouldn't come and take my blood in the night. Very scary. And I remember I'll have dreams of like just weird things, like people I know like turning into animals, and just weird, you guys, like I don't even know how to explain everything. But overall, the testimony is that God rescued me from the clutches of death. Like, I really would not be here telling you guys this story, and I am 14 years late in telling the story, but better late than never. And I would tell the story and tell everybody the story and give God all the glory, because I really would not even be alive today. There were other things that happened in my life. I remember more recently, about, I think it was not last year, 2 years ago, maybe about 2 years ago, there was this period where, like, in the span of like maybe a week or 2 weeks, right, I had encountered near accident moments, like freak accidents, right? And it was just kind of like slight, maybe like I pressed the brakes or I quickly just swerved or something like that avoided the accident. But really it was God saving me, because I spoke to my mom, I think maybe sometime last year, and she was telling me how, oh, do you know, there was this one period that she was driving and the Holy Spirit just kind of ministered to her to just start praying, and to pray for me specifically regarding car accidents. So during that time, I wasn't really praying a lot. I wasn't really taking like my spiritual life very, very serious. God ministered to my mom instead to pray on my behalf, which is why it's just so powerful to have people around you that pray, because you really don't know what battles are being fought in the spirit over you and over your life. I thank God. I really thank God for adding another year to my life. I'm so grateful to be alive today, because it is not by my power or by my might or by any good deed. There's so many people that haven't lived to be my age or lived to even see this year in their lives, and it's not because I'm special or I'm spiritual or anything like that, but it's really, really the mercy and the grace of God, and I'm just so grateful. And I just wanted to share my testimony. I wanted to share my testimony because God has been good to me, and there's so many things that has happened in my life that I don't talk about, and I've just decided that this year is the year. No matter how big or how small it is, I will tell it, and I will share God's goodness and give all the glory back to God every single time, because He deserves it. And no matter if it's just one person that I'm able to reach and inspire with my life and with my experiences, it means more than the world to me, because I truly believe that like my purpose and my calling and my destiny as a whole is connected to a lot of people. I don't know why I feel that way, but I've just always felt like that, and which is why I've just always felt in my heart that I was brought to this world to help other people. And so I just believe that there's somebody out there that needs me to finish and accomplish my mission and my vision in order for them to start. And so that's why I will keep going. I'm never going to give up, and no matter how many times I fall, I will get back up and I keep going because the Lord really and truly is my strength. And I just bless God because He's just too good. He's too good. He's too good, and He's all-knowing, and He deserves all the glory and all the honor. Thank you guys so much for supporting me and for sticking by me, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, so cheers. I don't have any drink, but cheers to a new year, to a new age. Really appreciate you all, and I love you guys so much. God bless you all. Thank you for watching. Bye. Happy birthday to me.